Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So this is the part 2 of the home automation series. So in this video, we will be discussing about how to set up the ESP and connect it to the switchboard box. We will be starting with the ESP soldering and flashing of the code in the ESP as well as connecting it to the switchboard box. So I'll be leaving the links so that you can directly skip to each of the sections. So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so in this part we will be explaining on how to solder the ESP to the breakout board. So you might be already knowing this, but since it's a beginner friendly series, I thought of explaining it from the ground level. Somebody of you might have already know this development boards. So if you're having any development boards, something similar to this, you can totally skip this session because it comes with this male headers. So you just need to connect the male wires or the jumper wires and get it working. So we'll be using this ESP modules where we need to either connect the male headers directly to that module, or the better approach will be buying a breakout board, something similar to this. So I'll be leaving the links in the description so that you can purchase that and just need to place it on breakout board and solder it. Alright, so let's jump into the soldering of the ESP to the breakout board. Make sure you use a pointed soldering tip to solder. Align the ESP with the breakout board pins and solder the pins carefully. After all the soldering is done, make sure to check the connections using a multimeter. Put the multimeter in continuity mode and check the terminals. If you hear the beep, then the soldering is correct, or else you need to do it again. Along with this, we need to solder a capacitor of value 22 μF to the ground and VCC. You can find the ground pins on the backside of the breakout board, or else you can use the breakout pins. Alright, now we have done with the soldering part, and now we can flash the code to the ESP module. Before that, you'll need Arduino IDE to flash the code to the ESP. So to do that, open up the browser and navigate to arduino.cc and click on the software tab and install the package which supports your operating system. Now download the package and open the Arduino IDE. Open Preferences window from the Arduino IDE. Enter the URL into the additional Boards Manager URL field and click on the OK button. If you already have a URL in there and want to keep it, you can separate multiple URLs by placing a comma between them. Open the Boards Manager, search for ESP8266 board, and from there click on Install. Choose your ESP board from Tools, Board and Generic ESP8266 module. Select the board details with the port selection and restart the Arduino IDE. Now we need to connect the ESP to the FTTI board in order to flash the code. So make the connections to the FTTI board shown in the diagram. Make sure you connect the RX and TX of the ESP to the TX and RX of the FTTI board. Quickly go to the GitHub link which I have given in the description box and copy the code and paste it in the Arduino IDE. So here you need to change some of the configuration values which I marked here. One thing to notice is the MQTT broker IP. There you need to give the IP address of your Raspberry Pi and also give a unique name to the room as well as the device names. After making all the changes, flash the code. Now this part is little trickier to do, but I'll explain it as simple as possible using a diagram. So we'll be dealing with the main supply, so make sure you have turned off your mains line or do it with using a skilled electrician. Disconnect all the electrical connections from the switches and make a note of the wires corresponding to the electrical appliances. Now take the relay and connect the phase line to the relay common terminals. Connect the device wires to each relay N/O terminals. Connect the phase and neutral lines as input to the power module. Now connect the 5V of the power module to the relay VCC and ground to the ground pin of the relay. Connect the 3.3V of the power module to the ESP VCC as well as the ground pin. Now look at the ESP code and identify the pins to be connected to the relay and the switch. In the breakout board, you can see the GPIO pin number, or else you can refer the pinout diagram in the description and connect accordingly. Now take the ground and connect to the other terminal of the switches. Here ends the second part of the video, and in the upcoming video I'll be explaining how to set up the Raspberry Pi and the necessary software installations to get this home automation project running in your Raspberry Pi. So stay tuned.